about sustainable consumption in general can join, then I'm going to start now. Okay, cool. Thank you. And photo. I'm Julia. I don't speak Swedish, I'm sorry. I'm from Germany and I'm part of a student group concerned a lot about sustainability, and we're called hållbart Universitet. And maybe you've heard about us before, and if not, maybe you want to join later. And what I'm going to talk about now is usually part of a city walk designed to walk through Lund to show people places where we buy and telling about the impact that our consumption usually has on the environment and society. If I'm talking too fast, please tell me. No problem. And now we're inside, so it's going to be a different talk, but I still will try to help you figure out some of the impact that our consumption has on the environment and society. And first of all, I would like to ask you, what do you think is consumption? And you can just throw it to me. There's nothing wrong or right. What do you think is consumption? Buying things.
Yeah. But also eating.
Eating, yeah. Any more ideas? Young man?
Buying things and throwing them away.
Throwing them away, okay. It's also consuming, yeah?
I have thought that living in this society is consumption, since it's based on consumption. You have to buy your groceries, you have to buy your clothes, you have to buy everything that you want, and you also have to pay for your apartment, and working is a sort of consumption too, since it's based on that.
Did you hear that? I think that maybe not everyone.
You can repeat it to them if you want.
Kan inte komma in?
She just said that basically everything in our life is more or less consumption, because we consume energy, we consume water. That's not much left in our society what is actually for free, because most of the times you have to pay for it, right? And also sometimes we don't really think about where the waste is going to end up in the product that we consume. And concerning consumption, I want to show you this date. Have you ever heard about the Earth Overshoot Date?
No.
Yes. This date is based on a measurement which is called the ecological footprint, which is saying how much of our natural resources we use to produce all the stuff that we then consume. And some clever scientists have calculated that, this was last year, already in August 21st, we actually already consumed all of the natural resources that our Earth is able to replenish in a year. So already after 8 months, after that we live basically on debt, ecological debt, which means nowadays we already use up to 1.3 up to 1.5, so means 1 Earth and a half more resources than we actually have. And everyone that knows a bit of maybe money, like once you don't have money anymore, then you take it from somewhere, but we don't actually know where we take this from, because we only have 1 Earth. So where do we take it from? From probably our children. And so this was just to show, like, in general, the impact. I'm sure many of us have heard about environmental problems and social problems concerned with consumption. And today I've brought 4 different topics we could talk about when it comes to consumption. It's clothes, shoes, food, and traveling. And maybe if someone of you is interested in something in particular, I don't think we have time for all of them. Usually we have a 1.5 hours tour, so is there something you're especially interested in? Clothes, shoes, food, or traveling that you want to hear about?
Clothes.
Clothes? I think not so much, yeah? Okay, we can start, and then if you feel you want to know more. Okay, well, for this stop I need your help, and it's going to all be about clothes. and we're gonna talk about something that we all wear and use. Maybe not in this size, but jeans. So, how many of you wear jeans today?
Raise your hand if you
Yes?
wear jeans.
Hey, how many jeans do you think you have at home in your closet? Great. Huh? Eight. Four, three, two, three, six. Well, that's a lot. Yeah. Well, I think it's nice to just see where actually this jeans comes from and how it is produced. And for that, I'll need an assistant. Andrea. And I need more assistance. I help you here. Just you may take this and you open it when I later when I ask. Okay. Okay. So we have to start somewhere, right? So do you know what jeans are made from?
Cotton.
Cotton. Next. And do you know where the cotton comes from? India? Yeah. One.
South America.
Some of probably in South America. Huh? Texas. I think they outsourced that. Although maybe not. So a lot comes from India. Does anyone have a growing envelope? Yeah, you may open it. Can you read it to the average?
India, also West Africa, Asia, US, Central America. Cotton uses lots of, I don't know where it's done.
Water, probably?
No, pesticides.
Pesticides? Yeah. Fertilizer?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And water, about 40,000 liters per pair of jeans.
Oh, that's a lot, right?
Yeah.
And so we are now either in India or we are Central Asia, Uzbekistan, and so on. And when we talk about water used for cotton production, then maybe you have seen also this picture before. This is the Aral Lake, which is at the border with Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, and a lot of countries where the names I'm not so familiar with. But basically you can see that that in Uzbekistan and other countries, they practically live from cotton production, which they then sell to other companies to make clothes from. And the Aral Lake used to be this big in 1973. And when we look like 30 years later, we see it has shrunk like this. Sorry, you can't see. And one of the main reasons is irrigation. Irrigation for cotton production and agriculture in this region. So I don't say that that it's your particular fault or something, but together we cause quite a lot of problems in water resources around the world. Next step would be spinning. Do we have someone who's yeah?
China.
Okay, we're in China now. So now we traveled, let's say, from Uzbekistan here, travel to China for a spinning process. And this is about 2,000 to 3,000 kilometers long. Then we come to the step, does everyone know what spinning is? That you make the threads out of the cotton. Then dyeing, where...
Yes.
Yeah.
Taiwan.
Okay. China, making a little geography lesson here, up to Taiwan, which can be up to another 1,500 kilometers. And dyeing, which means putting a color, making it from the white, what the actual cotton looks like, into blue. Uses a lot of chemicals, obviously, which are then can pollute the waterways downstream. Then we come into weaving. Holland?
Poland.
Okay. So from Asia all the way back to Europe, our genes goes to Poland. And then we are coming to the process of design, which is done probably, let's imagine, Sweden, H&M, just a nice designer shop, and they're actually doing the design. Sending this to the Philippines, where it's sewed. And we have just this picture here, and I hope you can see it a bit, which should show the sewing process. And I don't know if you see it, is there some kind of association you have with this? Like when you see it from far? Because the first thing that comes to my mind when I see this is like a chicken farm. I don't know. So, and so these are the working conditions that we see there. Next step would be stone washing. Anyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Greece, it says, use of humus stones. Humus dust pollutes air and water, natural resource depletion, and extensive use of water to wash them.
Which is funny, now we're coming from Poland to Greece to do what? Take the color that we before put in, to wash them out, to have like jeans like this, which are a bit more fancy and but using, as he said, quite extensive methods to get the color out of it again. And well, then actually we're at the end of the lifetime, or not the lifetime, but of the process of the jeans, because it should of course still be worn. So it's going to be shipped back, let's say, to Lund, and it's in our shells. So all in all, our jeans, your jeans maybe, has traveled about 40,500 kilometers. And if you just imagine, the whole Earth is 40,000 kilometers. So it has traveled one time around the world just to be at the shop here in H&M. Using a lot of resources, emitting CO2 for transport, for the production processes. So you're not, huh? Yep. One jeans, as we heard before, uses a lot of water, especially for the growing of cotton. And one can say that it's about 6,000 liters of water that then one jeans uses, and it's actually not the 150 bathtubs. It's only 40 bathtubs, but it's still quite a lot of water which is produced, which is used up in the process. But we don't want to be all negative only. So I'm sure we all know that there are some alternatives to it, aren't we? So we are here having like a nice clothes swap. So I think this is already one of the alternatives you have for consuming always more and more and new and new. Is there any other alternatives that come to your mind to reduce the impact that we heard about?
I always buy my jeans at second-hand shops because just because someone else has worn them one time or two doesn't mean that I can't wear them for the rest of their so-called lifespan until they rip, you know?
Yeah, some people like it to be ripped, right? So.
Yeah, but I prefer whole nice and clean, you know?
Yeah, but you can get new jeans and as well as like almost new jeans.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. You?
In the process, use different material for the fabric. We have hem as an example, which is much better from the environment. It doesn't need pesticides. It doesn't need much fertilizer. I guess.
And probably can also be produced more regional.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
For linen, I don't know.
Linen?
Yeah, linen. I think it's also a little better than cotton because it can also be produced more locally.
Exactly. Good point. Yeah.
I think what you say has something to do with economical progress. What do you think it needs to do something to reshape our economical progress? Because it has direct something to do with our economy. The more the economy progress, the more our consumption progress.
You want to reform economics?
I think so. I think it should be the best alternative. I
Okay.
guess so.
You can there's a lot of people probably here that want to do the same. So yeah, good point. Yeah. And anyone heard of organic cotton before? Yeah. Do you think that's a good alternative?
It's better.
Huh?
I hope it's better.
At least a bit better. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know that, if, for example, even H&M sells some organic cotton. You can argue about is it really useful or not. And yeah, all the information I gave you today, but this stuff was coming from the Clean Clothes campaign. I don't know if you've heard about it. It's an NGO trying to reveal the issues in clothes production. And if you want to know more about clothes production per se, you can just go to the internet and check more out of that. How much more time do we have? I don't, otherwise, I lose
It's 19 past
7. Is there any other topic that you would be interested to hear about? We have food, shoes, and traveling. Is there something? Shoes? Okay. It's actually quite fun. So, for the shoes part, I also need your help again. And yeah. Thank you, Andrea. And first of all, again, the question: how much do you think you paid for your shoes? $120 kroner? Cheap? 250?
If it's a brand of shoes like Adidas or
Yeah.
Converse, you're bound to buy it for about 500 or 600 Swedish crowns.
Yeah, makes sense. So I want to play a little game, or like a little puzzle with you. And I brought a shoe, but unfortunately it's all been cut down, so I need your help to put it together again. So I will give some pieces to you, and I'm sure you will be competent to put it together. Okay. I think there's one little piece left. So, okay, if those who have the piece can come here and put it together.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. It's beautiful, isn't it? And I'd like to use the shoe to visualize the costs that are associated with the prices we pay in the shop. And as you were saying, brand shoes are usually much more expensive. So let's say this shoe, or a pair of shoes, there should be another one, has costed 1,000 kroner. Yeah, to say was an investment in a supposedly good shoe. So let's see about the biggest part of the shoe. Do you know where 50% of the money that you buy for the shoe in the shop, do you know where the money goes to?
The process.
Transport.
Transport? Advertisement? No, not yet.
Wages.
Wages of who?
The CEO.
Well, you buy it, let's say you buy it here in, I don't know, you buy it, let's say you buy it in H&M. So, who gets the 500 kroner?
Workers at the company. H&M.
In H&M,
Yeah.
excellent. Well, not the workers actually, the owner of the shop will
Okay.
get it there. Then we have 13% of the price, 13% of the 1,000 krona we pay go to where? Transport?
Labor.
Labor? No, not yet.
Workers?
Hmm?
The workers in the store? No.
No. Hmm?
Taxes.
No. It's, we talked about brand shoe. It's
Advertisement.
it goes to the brand itself, just
Okay.
as a profit for the brand. So, third biggest part is 11%. You can pop up again. And here you have. Unfortunately, still not.
I don't have a clue.
Okay.
I'm not
Well, I think this part is really difficult because it goes into research and development and of the brand mostly, and then maybe innovations of the brand. So let's say, you know, sometimes shoes have like really fancy features, like I don't know, rolls or something. So this needs much money to be invested in, apparently. And then we have 9%. I think I heard it before. 9% goes where?
Advertisement.
Yes. So an advertisement, for example, I have this figure here. Adidas paid Beckham, the football player, like 40 million krona once for a contract. So, I mean, your shoe or this consumption gives him a little bit of money as well.
A little bit would be
quite wrong. Well, for him probably it's little. 8% go where? Oh. I'm sorry. It's still
Workers?
Nope. It actually, but what we haven't talked about, like actually what it's made of.
Material.
It's the material cost. 8%. 5%. We are getting smaller.
Unions.
Transport.
Transport and taxes, like on the border for how do you say, tariffs and so on. And 4%. What are they here? Workers? No, we're not there yet. It's the profits that go to let's say the sweatshop, to the factory actually producing it. So it's still not the person who's actually working on it. So what is the last and smallest piece ever? 0.4%.
The workers.
Yes. So that's our fact, our conclusion would be 4 krona out of 1,000 that we pay in the shop here in Sweden for a shoe. 4 krona go to the person who's actually sewing the shoe back in Bangladesh or.
And that's not the worker that sells the shoe?
No, this is the
No,
worker.
it's only the one that makes the shoe.
Yeah. And so I have a final question for you here. How much do you think has to be added to this salary of, or this loan of 4 krona per pair of shoes to actually make it a living wage, of which the person who's sewing the shoe could actually live from and also feed his or her family from? Any ideas?
I would say at least 50.
At least 50?
Yes.
From 4 to 50? Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think that's reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
If you say 50 per day,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Per day. Okay, yeah. Then it depends how many shoes he or she can produce. Yeah. Well, I have the answer here. Anyone who wants to open the golden bag? 4 crowns. It's actually 4 crowns that would have to be added to make it a fairer living wage, which is, I mean, it's the double, but 8 krona is out of 1,000. Does it make a much difference for us? And does it actually justify the companies always telling us we can't raise prices for the workers because it's going to raise the price for the shoe so much? So this is the question I'd like to to leave you with. This is also, these data are also coming from the Clean Clothes campaign. And again, my last question: what are the alternatives? If we think this is not fair.
Cut the bread.
Cut the bread. Okay. Give more to those who don't have.
Yes.
How do we do that?
Buy locally or people that sell their own stuff.
Okay. Local production.
Local food.
Communities. Yeah.
But this won't really, I hate to say it, but this won't really benefit them because the shoes will be even more expensive if you stop buying other shoes. And
You mean?
And the percentage will stay the same. So we have to do something about the percentage that goes to workers, etc. Instead, we have to make some kind of claim to this company that you have to take your responsibility and pay your workers a proper wage.
So that's something like a fair trade shoe would be, might be nice.
Exactly.
Yeah, good point. No one has taken these shoes there yet, so maybe someone wants to restrain from buying some next time and get these really nice red boots there. There's also, of course, environmentally friendly options, and for example, there's also so-called vegan shoes, for example, sounds good, or fair trade organic shoes. I mean, I think the collection for shoes or like alternatives for shoes are still quite limited, but I think there's also some options where you can get like brands like El Naturalista or something from recycled materials. Of course, you can also order on the internet, but of course, better you just use your shoes longer than buying new all the time. And unfortunately, we can't go barefoot in Sweden. Yeah. At least not in the winter time. Do you have any questions about shoes? About this, what we just talked about? Any concerns? I know it's not black and white, so I know that there's always a but. Like shoes. We need shoes. Yeah.
Are they the same proportions even if the shoe is much cheaper? Or?
I mean, of course, this is an example for a brand shoe, then I think it might be very difficult, at least maybe even worse if it's for unbranded shoes. But probably this part for the brand part will be less, and of course depends if you buy it in a specialized shoe shop or if it's a very discount shop. But as I said, the data are from the Clean Clothes campaign, the NGO, and this is, I think, an average they calculated. And I think it just should prove a point that there's something wrong in this thing. And I hope this was clear. And yeah, I think thank you very much. If you don't have any questions, I will be here if you want to. If you're interested in more things like this, we also have the full city walk organized more or less regularly, and you can sign up here. We have like a sign-up list, and also if you're interested in getting to know Hemgården Universitet as a student organization for sustainability things. We are, as you are, very active in doing good things for good people, for a good earth. And exactly as Serena said, we really need more people who are doing this thing, what I just did, being a guide for sustainable consumption in Lund. And if you're interested, we're going to have a workshop on the 7th of December to actually train new guides to be a guide. And then it doesn't cost anything. You're just contributing some of your time and your interest and your passion for sustainability, sustainable consumption. And we're hopefully looking forward to some of your contributions. Thank you.